Hi, I'm Dean Brown, and I wanted to talk to you about polyrhythms. Now, polyrhythms, first let's define it. It's like two or more distinct rhythms going on at the same time, or distinct pulses going on at the same time. Now, you'll hear polyrhythms in all kinds of music. For instance, Kashmir, Led Zeppelin, and Frankenstein from the Edgar Winter Band, and Beat It, Michael Jackson. All of these tunes utilize polyrhythms. Now, of course, there's more intense stuff like John McLaughlin's Mahavishnu Orchestra and things like that. And of course, even more intense is like Charles Ives music, which is sort of modernist classical music. But I just want to get polyrhythms into your head as something to sort of open up your improvising a little bit and create some different rhythmic phrases for you. So let's get right into it. So here's some examples of some sort of simple polyrhythms. Okay, so the figure one that I'm going to deal with is groups of 3/16 notes over a 4/4 pattern. Now, before we go any further, let me just show you how I want to do this. It's going to be the notes A and E, and how I'm going to do it is I'll hit the A, and then I'll pull off, and then hit an upstroke. So there's your three notes. So, and you can do this, you know, really fast if you work it up. You know, but this isn't about speed. This is about polyrhythms and getting two rhythms to live side by side. So let's do it first with a click and check it out. So 1, 2, 3, and. Okay, so what's going on there is you're hearing the two rhythms happening at the same time. This one, and then you're hearing da 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 at the same time. Now, to make this a little more dramatic, just play the accents, and now you'll really be able to hear the polyrhythms. But this time, let's do it with a beat. 1, 2, 3, and. Okay, so see, now you can really hear the two rhythms going against one another. It's really important to be very, very even with this. That's the key to really bringing both polyrhythms out. Okay, so that was figure one. That's groups of 3. Now let's try something a little trickier. This is groups of 5. We're going to use, now again, we'll use this pull off. So we'll go. So what's happening here is I'm hitting the note, then pulling off. That'll be for any kind of two-part or two-part rhythm. And then for the 3, again, it'll be an attack, a pull-off, and then a re-attack as an upstroke. So it'll be or. Okay, so check this out. Now let's do the same thing just with the beat again. But now this is going to be groups of 5/16 notes. So this is a little trickier. 1, 2, 3, and. Okay, so now the other thing I want you to remember here is that I'm using 2-bar figures for this, just so it sort of turns around, so you can get it in the context of something you might want to use, you know, in a tune. Having said that, you should be able to extend it into 4 bars or 8 bars or 16 bars and keep that polyrhythm going, but still know where the real groove is. In other words, the underlying groove, which is always in our, for our purposes, is 4/4. Okay, now the next one is going to be 7/16 notes. 7/16 notes. So this, you know, as it gets more extended, you have to concentrate a little harder on where that original sort of pulse is, that 4/4 pulse. So here we go, 7/16 notes. 1, 2, 3, and. Okay, so 7 notes. Now again, the idea is to also try to do this only with accents. So check this out. 1, 2, 3, and. Get the idea. All right, so that is, you know, one way of dealing with polyrhythms. And now another way of dealing with it is to take small phrases or motifs, and what I like to describe it as is rhythmically displacing them. So in other words, you take a simple motif like something like this from the pentatonic scale, from the A pentatonic scale, and then try to do some interesting rhythmic things with it. Now for this, now that we're going to try to attempt to get more musical with it, let's do this. Let's go and actually make a little bit more interesting beat and add a little bass part to it. So now, first thing we want to do is I'm going to play a group of four notes, 4/16 notes, and I'm going to add an 8th rest. So the cumulative thing will be 3/8 over 4, 3/8 over 4. I think you'll see what I mean when I do it, hopefully. One, two, 1, 2, 3, and. I'll do it one more time. 3, and. So, as you see, that's 3 over 4, 3/8 over 4. Now, if I was to rhythmically displace it slightly differently, now here's the same 4-note pattern, right? But now this time, I'm going to only put a 16th rest in between. So now it becomes 5/16 over 4, 5/16 over 4. One, 2, 3, and. One more time. 4. So you get the idea. In other words, by displacing this motif differently, we can get a lot of mileage out of just a very simple 4-note phrase. And of course, I'm only going descending. You can make all different kinds of patterns out of this. Okay, I want to go and try one more thing with you. On this next figure, this is going to be a 6-note pattern. So it's 6/16 notes, which is going to be 3/8. Again, 3/8 over 4, 6/16 notes, or 3/8 over 4. So I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm using the A Dorian scale, which is A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, and A. How it sounds, so you'll get that idea. Now, again, I'm going to use my beat, and this is going to be 3 over 4, but 3/8 over 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and. One, two, three, and. Now the last part of this whole thing is to take this particular thing, a six-note phrase, add 1/16th note to it, just 1/16th note, make it a 7-note phrase, and in other words, displace it rhythmically by 1/16th note and still stay in 4/4. Let's see if I can pull this off for you. One, two, three, and. One, two, three, and. All right, so there it is, polyrhythms. See, obviously, this is a vast, vast subject, but this is a good start for you, and this is a good way for you to sort of get into it. And any one of these things, I urge you to sort of, like I said, extend it, make it longer, or change the patterns, you know, the way they're grouped, go up, go down, go, you know, do different things with it, experiment. You know, I'd like you to find your own way through things as opposed to me showing you some licks or anything. These are just concepts. So listen, I hope you enjoy it and I hope you get a lot out of it. We're talking about polyrhythms here. Let me play some stuff for you that's sort of like that on the way out.